Good morning and welcome to Tuesday morning's 10 with Tom. We're glad to see everybody this morning. Hope you had a good Monday. Today, we want to wish a very special happy birthday to Ansley Shoemaker. So, Ansley, have a wonderful day. And even though we can't be with you, we're certainly celebrating with you. And, there's one big advantage. I think I've already shared this. When you blow on that candle, you're contaminating your cake, so you have to eat it all. So, enjoy your birthday, Ansley. Look forward to seeing you soon. A couple of quick updates for our Zoom meeting. We are going to be meeting at 5 o'clock on Saturday. And so we'll be sending out all the information in an email tomorrow so that you'll have the codes and everything that you need to get into that. But Caitlin is going to be putting that together, and that'll be Saturday at 5 o'clock, so make sure you set your calendars for that. And we also wanted to mention, are you playing Family Feud yet? We hope you're doing that. And if you're not, it's certainly not too late to get involved in the game, but we're going to have a good time with that as well. So that happens every day. We start around 10 o'clock, and we'll keep you updated as we go. So our question for today is, what is your favorite song? Think back of all the music you've listened to, and what is your all-time favorite song? Make sure you comment and let us know what that is, and we'll try and put together a playlist on the YouTube channel. And if you can't find the YouTube channel, look for PITT, P-I-T-T 76, Temple Zero. Long story behind that, but PITT 76, Temple Zero. That'll get you to my YouTube channel, and we'll make a playlist of all of our favorite songs, and so we can be encouraging and listening to each other's music and having some fun with that as well. So, be sure and let us know what is your favorite song. Now, as far as my favorite song, I had a hard time because I love music and I've been listening to music for a long time. But I was trying to think of the song that had the greatest impact. And since we just came through the season of Easter, I got to thinking about a song that I used to listen to on Christian radio. There was a show on Sunday nights called the Scott Ross Program. And Scott Ross was a DJ, and he would play Christian music. And one Easter night before the Dr. Demento show came on, if you were paying attention to the post the other night about the cockroach that ate Cincinnati, the Scott Ross show would precede Dr. Demento. We didn't have Christian radio stations, but you would get little snippets of Christian music for an hour here, an hour there, especially on Sundays. And so we were coming home, and I heard this song on the radio called Love Broke Through by a guy by the name of Phil Keaggy. And it just became one of my all-time favorites, and had a real impact on my early development as a youth, as a teenager, and really started to enjoy the music of Phil Keaggy. And so, Love Broke Through, that's mine, and can't wait to hear what yours is. Now, with our question of the day out of the way, we want to pick up our story on God giving us the desires of our hearts. When we left off yesterday, I had just finished 8th grade. I was ninth grade, gotten involved with track and basketball as a statistician and as a writer, and my dream was kind of being transferred from being that Olympic athlete into being a sports writer. So I get to high school, and I'm in the marching band, and I'm ready for the football season to begin, and my dad gets a phone call a couple of days before school starts from one of the phys ed teachers who happened to be the football coach and lived in my neighborhood, one street away from me. And he said, "I heard your son does statistics." And my dad said, "Well, yeah." And he says, "Well, I need a statistician for the football team." He said, "Do you think he'd be interested?" So my dad asked me, and I said, "Well, sure." And so my routine on Friday nights and Saturdays, because we didn't have lights at our field, would be to march into the stadium with the band, do pregame stuff, then run down to the sidelines, grab my clipboard, keep statistics. At halftime, quick, go get my drum and get back into the band again, march at halftime, put everything back down, go back and keep statistics. And then when the game was over, give the clipboard to my dad, and then take off with the band again. And so it was a busy time, but I loved doing football, and so I got involved with football. The high school basketball coach was also a neighbor of mine, and so he found out that I was doing football, and he says, "Why don't you do basketball?" Because I know from the ninth grade coach that you did basketball. So I started doing basketball statistics. Got to know a local sports reporter, and so he gave me some more work to do, and that was going really well. Then I had a 10th grade biology teacher, Mr. Bullock, who was the head cross-country coach, and he said, I want to get you involved with cross country. And next thing I knew, as a junior, he had me traveling with the cross country team, and my life just seemed to get busier and busier. Well, it was about this time that I really started to think about broadcasting, because I loved radio. I loved listening to games on the radio, and I had a tape recorder, and I used to turn off the TV or the sound on the TV, and I would record myself broadcasting games, and I thought, oh, I would love to do that. And the local station, I used to broadcast Friday night football games, and so I would listen to Friday night games when we had games on Saturday, and they had a Friday night highlight show where people would call in with reports from different places. And well, that would be kind of fun to do. But I'm still working for the newspapers, and all's going well. My sophomore year, that radio station came and broadcast a game from my school. And so before the game, I introduced myself to the radio announcer, gave him some team statistics from before the game. Quick after the halftime show with the band, ran up to the press box, gave him the halftime statistics, and just tried to make a first impression. So I kept doing that. Got involved with the girls basketball team my junior year, which was very successful. So now I was traveling with boys and girls basketball, still doing a lot of writing. But then this radio station, because our girls had a really good team, started broadcasting our girls' playoff games. So I started handing him statistics, and one night he said, well, why don't you just stay here and you can do the statistics on the radio. You can share what's going on, and we'll make you a little part of our broadcast. And so I thought, well, that's kind of cool. That's fun. So I got to spend a little bit of time on radio, got to know him a little bit. And by my senior year, I was phoning in reports when we had a rare Friday night game, and starting to get to know him better. So I'm getting through high school, and I'm living the dream. I'm doing all these fun things. I had a press pass to the state basketball championships, and was covering high school athletics and trying to figure out where I wanted to go to school. And one of the basketball players, when I was a sophomore, had gone on to college and was playing college basketball, and their college team had a statistician who was a senior in college when I was a senior in high school. And the coach was lamenting the fact that he was going to lose this statistician, and so this guy said to the coach, hey, I know somebody who can do that, and he's really, really good. And so I applied to go to school, and I didn't have the best grades, but because of the in with the basketball team, I was able to get my acceptance back in 8 days and started at the university. And my job was going to be the basketball team statistician, and so I got into that. I was really excited for the season to begin, and we were opening on a Friday in Erie, Pennsylvania at Mercyhurst College. And on Tuesday of that week, I got called in to the athletic director's office, which is kind of weird. You know, I'm a freshman. I have an on-campus job in the athletic department, which is fun. But why am I getting called into the office right before the basketball season starts? And the athletic director and the basketball coach were there, and the athletic director said to me, hey, Tom, I understand you've done a little bit of radio work. And I said, well, yeah. He said, do you think you could do radio and statistics at the same time? And I said, well, what do you have in mind? And he said, well, we have a radio network, and we have a play-by-play man, but our color commentator resigned abruptly, and we don't have time to find anybody for this weekend's games, so we wanted to know if you would fill in this weekend for the 2 games up in Erie, and that'll give us some time to find somebody to take the position. So I said, okay. And so my first 2 college basketball games that I worked, I was doing double duty as statistician and the color commentator. And so I got back and hadn't heard much. And so on Wednesday, I saw the athletic director, and I said, so how's the search going? And he goes, well, there is no search. I said, what do you mean? He said, we liked what you did so well that you have the job. And so now I was a radio announcer as well. So I'm doing statistics. I'm going home on weekends when I can and covering high school events. I had gotten a paid job doing part-time stuff there. Also, the radio station with the guy who I first introduced myself to and given statistics to, he now had me covering games on weekends and helping him with broadcasts of Saturday night high school games after our university games on Saturday afternoon. And so the momentum is growing and growing and growing. And that's a good stopping place for today, because as the momentum is growing, there's a big change about to take place. So I want to encourage you in your journey today, wherever it's taking you. Have a great day. And again, get those posts up as far as what is your favorite song of all time, because I want to hear them and I want to be able to share those with other people. So Have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow on 10 with Tom.